Yes, yes. Oh, the special episode of In the Paddock F1, episode number 68. And what are we doing? It's a Haas Humpday. We're talking
That's
all
right.
things Haas. That's right. Team that's eighth in the Constructors' Championship currently. My partner Greeny's favorite team. Why he chose them, I still have no idea why. I think he's a
It's an American
lunatic.
team. It's an American team for an
Yeah,
American bunch of American guys like us. Got to root for the home team, and that's what I'm
I see
doing.
the hell with the home team here,
You've never been to Italy. You've never been to
but
Italy, not once.
but anyway, special episode, first ever Haas Hump Day.
Haas Hump Day.
So
We are here, and there's a lot. I don't know if I'm as upset today. For those of you who don't know, it looks as if, as we sit here today on November 16th, 2022, that Mick Schumacher will no longer be a part of the Haas family moving forward, at least as a driver. We'll see if he ends up in a reserve role or he ends up potentially at Williams. Looks like the Williams dream the Williams dream of having Logan Sargent in there might not come to fruition, and he might not have enough super license points. I don't know what's going on there. It's something about hating on American drivers, always. So you might end up with Williams in the end, but most likely it's probably an outside chance of that happening, and most likely he is going to be done with F1 after Abu Dhabi this weekend, and likely it looks like it's going to be Nico Hulkenberg, but there's no official announcement at the moment as we stand here today. Looks like by tomorrow is it certain that Nico's going to be? It's not Romain Grosjean, is it?
no, it is not Roman Grosjean. He's happy in IndyCar. Get the heck out.
He is a happy IndyCar driver, and a lot of hints that about uh, a lot of people have come out and said, especially Bernie Eccleston came out and said that Mick Schumacher's better off not being in F1 anymore, and that his name is too much of a burden to drive an F1, and if he had a different name, this would not be much of a big deal of Mick Schumacher leaving Haas and potentially leaving Formula One, and Nico Hulkenberg pairing up. Listen, for those of you listening that are like, why they dump Mick for Nico Hulkenberg? Someone who is not going to grow with the car, is not going to be around for 5-8 years, is not going to be someone that can be a staple to this team. Why aren't you looking at a young guy? And honestly, it's cash. It's cash money. Okay? That's what's going on. Mick Schumacher is making what? 600, 700K this year. He's not even making $1 million. Whether you're talking about US dollars, euros, whatever. He's not clearing $1 million bucks. All right? But the amount of cars.
What is it in sterling? What is it in
What
sterling?
is it in,
that would be
I have to go to my
pounds, by the way.
I do not know international currency. I barely know American currency. But what I do know is that the currency that went out the window with Mick Schumacher and the amount of money that Haas had to spend, the millions and millions of dollars and millions of dollars that Haas had to spend on Mick Schumacher's mistakes over the last 2 years, and even this year, it's not acceptable. And Mick Schumacher put, I think, Haas in a tough spot financially. And let's be fiscally responsible. And let's get an experienced driver in there that at least can hold the car together for a year. At least have this guy hold the car together. At least have some kind of competent driver. Because you got a competent car. You finished 5th in Bahrain. Was that a mistake? Was that an accident? You started 8th this past weekend. KMag again.
Well, it's basically a Ferrari copy. So Ferrari did well at Bahrain, so of course Haas was going to do well. It was an aberration. Once everybody started bringing upgrades, and Haas didn't bring diddly poo, and there you have it. It's
That's
rubbish.
another problem. That's another problem. That's another problem. We had it last year, and we're expecting all these upgrades this year.
I'm
And what did we get? What did we get? What did we get? An opening salvo. We got an opening salvo for the first couple races, and it's a tease. And it's a tease. I'm not going to see a Haas win until I'm in the grave. All right? At this pace, I'm not going to see another one until I'm in the grave. And that's my rant on Haas. Or at least on this. I think we should talk more about what's going to happen going forward. I think we should talk a little bit more what's happening realistically and moving past Mick Schumacher and what it's going to look like in 5 years when you do need to bring a couple of young guys in. And I think they are setting it up for the next maybe 2 or 3 years from now, seasons from now, if Haas still exists. The team still exists. But if they're lucky enough to exist, what is it going to look like? Are you going to bring in young guys? Which is really, really important. Which is really, really important that you bring in young drivers because that's what you're going to need to do financially and otherwise. You really can't sustain having veteran drivers and building a car, right? Because that's what you're going to need to do. This team should have finished 7th. This team could have finished 6th this season, potentially with 2 competent drivers. And they might finish 9th. They could finish 7th, 8th, or 9th, depending. 6 is pretty doubtful. They're probably going to finish 9th, though. AlphaTauri's going to pull off some miracle here this weekend.
Love the optimism.
And they're going to finish 9th. After vying for 7th all year. That's 2 places that they're dropping. So it's all in all a sad season. But besides it's disappointing. It's disappointing. And I know they scored points and I was all excited at first, especially week 1 and the first couple of races when Haas is on the board and scoring points. But we're in a spot now where the team is built up. They should have scored a lot more points this season. 37, 35 points. I think 37 they're at right now. And then to have it on pole in quali and then a decent, I don't think that we were expecting anything more. I think a top 10 start, a 4th row start, an 8th, on the sprint race. I don't think anyone in their right mind was thinking that Haas was KMag was going to win the sprint race. You have any inkling of KMag was going to win the sprint race? No, that was never going to happen. It was never going to happen. I was hoping for top 10. I got top 10. You got 8th, and then just wreck it out.
Gunther said on the grid, "I hope to get a top 8."
That's it.
I get a top 8.
It's what you want.
Good point.
That's what you want to compete on. You want to. You're really in that 9-10 spot. So if you can be an 8, 9, 10 every single week, you be in the top 5 rows, you should be able to be in that 5th row. And you should be able to finish 5th with the car they had this season. And they didn't. And they blew it. And 2 inferior cars, which is the most upsetting thing. Yeah, their car stunk last year. Yeah, they couldn't put a point on the board this year. Well, every team scored a point this year. Haas couldn't put a point up last year. I get it. They really stunk last year. But they had a car that was, as I said at the beginning of the season, and as we said in preseason testing, they could have finished 6th. And probably could have finished 9th at a 10th. Could finish 7th. I'd be pumped. But it's probably going to be 9th. And regardless, we're 7th, 8th, 9th, doesn't really matter. It's about 2023, and we're going to do in 2023. And we're going to do with a KMag, Nico Hulkenberg combination and what that's going to look like. And Can people get excited? People were excited this year. You forget. People were excited this year. Remember?
There's a storm brewing. There's a storm brewing. There's a storm brewing.
There's a storm brewing. What happened? Then puttered out.
A poo-poo
Puttered out.
show?
It was a Cat 3. It was a Cat 3, and it couldn't even make a tropical storm when it hit land. No wind. No thunder. No lightning. Nothing. Storm was brewing. You know what that means. Phases out just as quick. And it did. And it did with Haas this year. I know Gunther Steiner's now like a celebrity. Congratulations. Congratulations. Your team stinks. I know you were going nuts on Friday. Nuts on Friday. Congratulations. What did I say? What did I say when I was in transit? You called me. What did I say?
Oh, I'm too medicated to remember that.
Probably like whoop-de-damn-do. I probably didn't say that, but I'm saying it now. Whoop-de-damn-do. That's what I'm saying. Because it's worthless. It was worthless.
You don't even remember what you said, so you're asking me.
I don't even
remember
remember what
that.
I said. No.
You said something, and all I can say is you said something, and then I laughed. And I probably laughed some more after that.
I think I said, how much did it rain? Probably. How much rain was there? Because you knew it wasn't. I knew when I heard about it. I knew it wasn't legit. And then we watched, of course, I watched this, and we both watched the sprint race live, and it was a good showing. It was a good showing, and Mick wasn't that bad either. Mick finishing 12th. You get really, really pumped. You get an 8th and a 12th. But when you get an 8 and a 12, 8-12 is one of the my least favorite combination of numbers. 8-12. Does that date ring a bell to you? Think about it. I'll give you the answer before we get off the finish the pod here. But
you got married?
8-12?
Oh, 8? No, 8-12.
8-12.
I'm sorry, I was thinking
August 12th. Give you the year. 1994. He's in the tank.
August 8th, 1994.
August 12th. 8-12. 8-12.
Sorry.
I hate 8-12. I was excited for 8-12 here. I'll let you think about it for a moment and let me finish my rant, and then we're going to finish up the show. But
I have no goddamn idea.
An 8th and a 12th should net you some points. It should net you some points. And to get no points on an 8 and 12 start is no good. And the answer, sir, that was the day of the baseball strike. August 12th, 1994.
Oh.
Terrible day. So I knew it was a bad omen. It was a bad omen. It was a bad omen. It came true. And it ends up being Mick's last race that he knows he's the driver for that, because he was basically fired right after that. You're fired. You're fired. Finished 16th? 16th? What do you finish?
This past week?
13? Maybe 13. I think 13. Doesn't matter.
Rubbish?
Rubbish. No points. No points. So that's about it. I think we'll probably do another one of these when we get closer to the season. We figure out exactly what's going on with the team, what it's going to look like going forward, and potentially, we're going to have probably a lot more as the star of Drive to Survive, Gunther Steiner. I'm about to make a show just about him. The star of the show.
That's your boy.
Any final thoughts about Haas's 2022 season as we go into the last race here in Abu Dhabi?
Trash? Trash? Straight trash?
Oh, straight trash. That's a little rough. Underachievers.
Straight
I'm
trash.
gonna give it underachievers. I would say C minus. If I gotta give it a letter grade. You going with an
F.
F? You going with a
F.
straight F.
Straight F.
Straight F.
Fail.
Fail. You don't think getting 0 points in 21 and then coming back and getting 35 points in 22 is a complete fail?
Yeah. Especially after the start they had. You're damn right. Maybe
Well, I
should
mean,
have
they got
brought some upgrades.
they got half those
KMag at
points.
14. KMag at 14 points in what, the first 4 races?
They had half those points in the first race.
I mean, come on.
You got half
You
those
bring
points.
you bring no upgrades. While everybody else
And,
is bringing upgrades, you're like, yeah, we'll be bringing upgrades. Yeah, well, those what'd you bring? Upgrades like one weekend?
and then Gunther comes out this week or today, I believe today on his Q&A session today with Haas. Comes out with his Q&A session. He's like, yeah, that was a really big point we got this weekend. It's a really big point. Congratulations. He doesn't get the point. The point is this is a 6th place team. This is a 6th place team. The way they performed.
No, it's
Potentially a
not.
5th place team this year. Potentially
no.
could have been, should have been,
No.
and they blew it. Well, if they're not a 5th or 6th place team and they finish 7th, how's that a fail?
Just the way they started. It's just bad. It's poor.
Riddle me that, Batman.
Riddle me this, Batman. I'll tell you why. Because they finished the back of the pack after the first 4 races, week in and week out.
Well, they did.
Straight trash. Straight
They
trash.
did. You had a good 4
They
races.
were
They were good in the desert.
They were losers. They were losers. Like every week, man. That's trash.
There's a lot of losing. I think we had a funeral at one point this season in September for Haas. And they were so bad. Yeah, and we were hoping for a big ending, and it didn't really happen. So listen, we have another show this Sunday. So definitely check it out. Check out our old shows. We got those shows to prep for this Sunday show, the finale of the season. There's still a lot on the line, even though Max Verstappen is already clinched. We were talking about here. I mean, just Haas alone, 7th could finish 7th, could finish 9th, could finish 6th. If they have a really good showing, which isn't going to happen. It's potentially Mick Schumacher's last race ever in Formula One. So a lot going on
Seb's
this
last
weekend.
race?
Seb's,
final race?
Some guy named Sebastian Vettel, 4-time champion, might be his last race as well in Formula One. Although
Danny's
I
last
don't
race?
know. I don't know if it's Danny's last race either. I don't know if it's either of those guys. I think we might see them again in Formula One. I give it 3 years until I call them completely out.
All right.
I give him 3 years. You never know.
Get that itch.
Look
to
at
get back
Fernando
in that seat.
Alonso. You thought Fernando Alonso was out 3-4 years ago. He was done, gone. And here he is. He's going to be racing until he's 45. So you never know.
No, the man still
It's a
got
Formula One miracle.
Well, so does Seb still has it too.
So yeah, they still got their super license. They can drive. They know how to drive. Seb's looking as good as he's been in years too, especially the second half of the season. So yeah, that's sad. Danny stinks. Love Danny, but he stinks. Anyway, we'll see you all in 3 days' time, 4 days' time at this point. And thanks all for joining us in this Haas Humpday special. Cheese, thank you, sir, for joining us as well and giving us a robust introduction to this new program we got here. And hopefully we'll bring lots of more of these filler shows in between now and next season. And we'll see you guys soon. As always,
peace.
And stay medicated, my friends. Dropping your lines.
Peace.